So hi with you, this is Sharanya here from Chennai Times. Welcome to Chennai Times' video interview. Glad to have you. Glad to have you talk to us after a really long time.
Hi, Shania. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm so glad that I get to share a very special journey that I've been through with all of you guys out there.
Super, super. So I think we'll just start rolling the ball right away. You've been
Right.
like ever since you. We've seen your whatever. We know that you're busy with a lot of films in Telugu and all of it. But one thing that's really that you've been encouraging and inspiring people out there through your social media is your weight loss journey, your weight loss transformation, if I can say. You've
Right.
always been what to say, body positive. You've never let your confidence go down ever. So, but what prompted you to go on this journey?
Well, for starters, I have and always will be someone who is body positive and body loving in all shapes and sizes, in any weight that I am. I have I feel felt in a way pioneered a small movement for women years back to say that you need to love yourself in every shape and size. Not all of us are born slim, not all of us can stay slim, and not all of us can reach those unattainable beauty standards that society and people put for put on to us. But my personal journey didn't come from a place of self hate or self loathing. It basically came from a place that I just wanted to be better. I wanted to be the best version of myself possible. And I know for a fact that even though I loved myself when I was 86 kilos, I was extremely happy, but I definitely was not healthy. And I think that prompted me to take things into my own hands and change things for the better. Because when I was 86 kilos, I was an extremely confident person. I was an extremely happy person, but I was very, very unhealthy. I had an unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy eating patterns, and unhealthy sleep patterns. All of this resulted in me having a very, very difficult time when I was working because my job requires me to be at my physical best for me to be able to go through hours of shoot. That combined with the fact that I have PCOS, like so many women out there, being obese was literally a Molotov cocktail of all the worst things that could have happened to my health. That being said, I was still extremely lazy. I did not want to take things into my own hands. I'm sure so many of you out there can relate to that feeling why you keep saying, I'll join the gym tomorrow, I'll start my diet tomorrow, but there is no tomorrow in weight loss. It's all about doing and starting it and continuing it diligently with the effort that's required. So for me, if you know Sharanya, and it was a image that went viral a couple of years back, about 2 years ago, I did a photo shoot of me wearing a black dress, and that was me at one of my heaviest. I was literally 15 kilos more than what you're seeing right now. And I went and did that photo shoot. And you know why I did that photo shoot? I did it to tell people that I'm not here to attain unattainable body image standards, and I'm not here for body shaming and bashing someone up because they don't fit under a 22, 32, 22 measurement. The thing is that I was a very happy and confident person then, but a part of me yearned to be better. I wanted to be better. I wanted to have a healthier life. I wanted to overall feel better because I know how my body felt at 86 kilos. I was heavy. I was lethargic. I was sluggish. My hormones were up and down like a roller coaster. My PCOS was flaring up. I was having irregular menstrual cycles. uh, I was probably my doctors told me I was at a risk of getting diabetes. And before even touching 30, to have diabetes is not something anybody wants. And I have a history of diabetes and cholesterol in my family. I was a prime candidate for getting all the worst possible things health wise. And that was like kind of like a rude awakening for me. That was like a wake up call for me. Because when I was in shoot and doing all those hours of shoot, I was having severe back pain, joint pain. My lethargy would set in. I was not having a good concentration at shoot. And overall, I felt the quality of my work that I was giving out was definitely subpar. I don't know what people call that switch that happens to you when you decide to lose weight. I literally stitched a dress in December 2018. I didn't fit into it in Jan 2019.
Hmm.
In 1 month, that dress did not fit me, and I think it was the most ashamed I had felt. It was the most embarrassed I had felt, because deep down inside, we're all human. We all want to wear nice clothes. We all want to feel good when we look at ourselves in the mirror. And I did love myself back when I was 15 kilos, 18 kilos more. I did love myself. People used to keep commenting about how confident I was and how I used to carry myself. But there was that feeling inside me that said, you are not living your optimal health. You are not in your optimal health. And I think that's what really was a bit disheartening for me, because throughout my life I've always wanted to be slimmer, I've always wanted to be healthier, but I just think I came to terms with the fact that I wasn't. So I think that was like a huge wake up call for me when I didn't fit into that dress in Jan 2019, and my weight loss journey started from then.
So, what is the process that you went through, in terms of, losing weight? What was your goal? Was your goal to, to lose certain amount of weight or to become healthy, or what was it?
So I decided, okay, I have a long way to go. I'm nowhere near my ideal BMI or anything like that. So let me at least take baby steps. The mistake a lot of people make is when they're a certain weight, they automatically tell themselves that they are okay. I'm like 40 kilos overweight. I should lose 40 kilos in like 4 months. That's definitely not what I wanted to do. I told myself, let me take it slow and steady. So in the start of 2019, I started off by getting into a little bit of naturopathy, a little bit of Ayurveda, and a lot of yoga. That with a balanced diet helped me maybe reduce about 5 to 6 kilos in a span of 3 months. After that, with the help of some close friends who were in the ketogenic diet, I asked them to help me get into that and educate me a bit on the keto diet. So for about 4 to 5 months, I was doing the keto diet. I lost a lot of inches, a lot of water weight, and my size dropped considerably after that. Because a ketogenic diet is basically a low carb, moderate fat, or even high fat diet. And I didn't want to do the high fat variant of it. I did the moderate fat variant of it. That I think was where I saw a huge change in the way I was starting to look, because I think from a size 18, I went to a size 12.
Wow.
So I had dropped so many dress sizes, and that overall resulted in me feeling really energetic. I felt really happy. I felt really good. And what happened after that was I continued the keto diet, and at some point I shifted from the keto diet to a low carb maintenance diet, which is what I was doing. Because like I felt my body couldn't handle too much of fat at the moment, because I had a bit of a gallbladder issue in January of this year. So I had to have my gallbladder removed due to gallstones. So apparently the stones were inside me for years. It again, this could have been due to the fact that I was obese. Gallstones developed in my gallbladder, and they just slowly started making their way up, and my gallbladder had to be removed because it was a bit infected. So after that, I have been on a pretty much maintenance low carb diet that has helped me a lot. Of course, I have my indulgences now and then, but I took a very slow and steady approach. And the most important thing I did was I made sure I worked out.
Okay.
Through the whole of last year,
Last
I
10.
was very physically
Yes.
active. For someone who was probably
Come on, Adya,
physically
pull.
active 1 or 2 times a week, I started becoming
Come
physically active
on,
5 to 6 times a
pull.
week.
Super, Adya.
I had a personal trainer in my gym who helped me with my weight loss goals. His name is Naveen, and he has been a huge support for me in this entire journey. So Naveen and I worked out a plan where I did a lot of HIIT strength training combined with high and
Nice.
moderate levels of
Nice.
cardio. So basically, this combination of a balanced diet combined with very, very regular workouts resulted in me seeing a good amount of weight loss.
Okay, okay. So what about, I mean, did you like work out during this pandemic, and how active were you during this time?
Yeah. So, like I said, due to my gallbladder surgery that happened in Jan, about 2 months just went for me. Like the whole of Jan, I was recovering. The whole of Feb, I was recovering. The doctors told me I was not allowed to do any sort of physically enduring activity for at least maybe like 2 to 3 months. So I felt like all the progress I had made had gone after Jan. So it was a bit of a slump for me. But then finally, in the month of Feb, during Feb middle, I picked myself up and I told myself, let's at least slowly start doing something. And I slowly started doing home workouts. By then, of course, the corona pandemic had hit us worldwide, and I was trying to figure out ways in which I could, you know, uh, make the most of this very unfortunate situation that we've all been put in. So I started doing accountability workouts with my friends. We would all be in a WhatsApp group and we'd
Yeah.
all follow one particular workout on YouTube, and we would have to report on the group saying workout for the day is done. So it
Okay.
was like a very, very nice accountability that I had with my friends, and they really, really motivated me and goaded me to, make sure that I got the weight loss done. Um During the lockdown, I feel like obviously due to shoots, we cannot be working out 24/7 and, dedicate every single day for a workout due to our erratic timings that we do in a film shooting. So if I were working out maybe 2 to 3 times a week when I was uh, in shoots,
Sure.
thanks to this lockdown, I was working out up to 6 times a week.
Wow.
And of course, there were no distractions, as I'd like to call them, like outside food, ordering from your favorite restaurants, and all these temptations were not in front of us. So I think that I kind of really took this lockdown by the horns, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let you lock me down. I'm going to do something about it, and I'm going to make something really, really good as an outcome from this lockdown. Let there be some silver lining to all of this nonsense that we're all going through thanks to COVID-19. But the only silver lining I see in this entire thing is that I definitely got to take my health seriously. And I'm pretty close to my goal weight right now, which I'm happy about. I'm currently at 68 kilos. My heaviest was 86 kilos. And if I touch 66, that would be a solid 20-kilo drop. So I'm working towards it. I'm doing personal sessions with my personal trainer every alternate day on Zoom, combined with a healthy home cooked meals. I feel I'll reach my goal weight real soon.
Super, super. So how do you feel right now? I mean, you had put up in your post saying that, even when you were at 83, you were confident, but were you confident? And now you feel, you mentioned saying that you were really, really confident about yourself. So how do you feel right now once you are on your like
Yeah.
path to achieving it?
So the clarification I want to make in that is that the reason why I said that that was fake confidence was because at 86 kilos, I was extremely happy, but I was not healthy. Today, I'm extremely healthy and I'm happy. So
Okay.
because I'm extremely healthy, I'm becoming happy. So it's like it's a situation where back then I was extremely happy, but I was not healthy. And the fact that I knew I was not healthy was making me a bit sad. Today, I'm extremely happy. And as a bonus, I'm also in a very good place health wise. So I know that I'm healthy, and that's making me even more happier. So it's a complete happiness, is what I mean right now. I feel it's a very fulfilling feeling because um, as much as I'm all for body positivity and I'm totally against body shaming, I don't believe anybody should be attacked for the way they look. I just believe everyone should make it a point to keep health as their number one priority in their life, because we all get so carried away with our work and so many things like that and our day-to-day activities and our day-to-day life. We forget and we put health in the back burner. I had put my health in the back burner for so long, it resulted in several complications for me later on in life. I had to end up getting my gallbladder removed due to my absolutely unhealthy lifestyle years back. All of that finally caught up and resulted in this. So for me, I've learned the lesson the hard way. I do not ever want to go back to a point in my life where I take my health for granted, because I don't want to end up with several health complications, because there's no point in the fame, there's no point in the money when you're going to be spending all that money on hospital bills.
True,
I
true.
mean, luckily for us, we all have health insurance, but at the end of the day, it's just not worth it. It's not worth that mental trauma. And of course, like when you are at your healthiest, you can give your best at your work. Many people, they put work in the forefront and be like, health, we'll handle that later, we'll go to the gym later, we'll go for that walk later. The more you keep saying later, the more you are procrastinating having a far more enriched life. And the person that I am today, I feel lighter, I feel happier, I feel so much more energetic in shoots. I have like so much of energy in shooting, and I'm able to do physically demanding activities. If my director tells me to go do a somersault as part of a comedy scene, I'm able to do it. But the very obese me and the very overweight me could probably not do it, because the first thing to do is impact my knees, because all that weight would fall on my knees. So the fact that I'm able to give such the fact that I'm able to do so much better in shoots is purely to do with the fact that I'm far lighter now and I'm far more healthier, and my PCOS is under control, my hormones are in control. I know so many women out there are dealing with this issue of PCOS and don't know how to go about it. The only way, sadly, you can combat PCOS is with a balanced diet, which is preferably gluten free and dairy free, and continuous workout for at least 6 times a week. This is the only way forward, Charanya, because people think that they can do these shortcuts, they can do these surgeries, they can do these pills, they can do these milkshakes that will make you drop weight, and these herbal teas that will make you have a flat stomach. None of that stuff works. All that stuff is just for Instagram, and it's just for people to endorse. The only three ingredients that you need in order to have the best possible health and lifestyle is, you need to be willing to put in the effort. Once you set your goal, you need to be diligent about it, and you need to be patient. We can't expect results overnight. So set that goal, put in the effort required, diligently follow through with it, and be patient, and don't expect results overnight. I've noticed, I've done it the hard way, and I've done it with so many trial and errors. I've tried having overnight results. I've done quick fix diets. I've done yo-yoing diets. I've done so many things, but it's a lifestyle change. And I know so many fitness people out there keep repeating this like a mantra, saying it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. And that's 100% true. I've developed a far more healthier relationship with food today. I've developed a liking to working out. I feel weird when I don't work out. These are all things you need to slowly incorporate in yourself and make it completely integrated into your lifestyle, because when you do that, it doesn't feel like an extra activity you're doing. It just feels as close to brushing your teeth and washing your face. It feels like that. So I feel that that's like really, really important, and there's literally no shortcut around it. You have to do it the hard way. You have to be patient. Do not want to lose 20 kilos in 1 month. That's an absolute no. Keep your target at 20 kilos for 1 year. And when you keep that time to do it, you see that it's so much more consistent. Your weight loss and your fat loss percentage is so much more consistent. And that's the weight loss that stays off. If I drop 10 kilos in 1 week, I will put it back on the minute I start eating normal food. That's how your body reacts, because it goes into starvation mode. You must never ever do that to yourself. So I've started eating super healthy. I've started eating regularly. I do not starve myself, and I make sure I get in my workout. So when you just follow this, you will see results. That you can't not see results.
Super, super. Vidhi, you had mentioned about body shaming. I mean, there was a period in your, in your career also where you had faced a lot of body shaming and all of that
Yeah.
criticism on for your weight and probably the kind of dialogues people wrote for the film for you and all of that. So how did you deal it?
Well, I think people were kind of like using my weight mainly as a tool to write their comedy. Like any joke would always be revolving around my weight or my physical appearance. And initially I was able to handle it. I took it like a sport. I didn't take it personally. But the problem is that I um I was so wrapped up in this whole idea of doing comedy and being seen in movies and being a prominent comedian in movies, that I really didn't think about the kind of repercussions it would do to my image and my overall self image. After a point, I broke and I was just like, why do I need to take this anymore? I don't need to constantly be shamed like this. I'm shamed on screen, I'm shamed off screen. I don't think anybody needs to go through that. So I started making it a point to, take things into my own hands. I started requesting directors and writers to stop writing jokes like that. And I still have a long way to go. They still do keep making those jokes. And I don't know how much of a weight I lose. I guess they'll always keep making those jokes. I don't know, but clearly people um, can't seem to think beyond a particular one track minded thought. So for me, I the reason I did that black dress photo shoot was to kind of tell myself, you know what, the whole world can shame you, but you can't shame yourself. You need to love yourself. And that was the message I was very strongly giving across in that black dress photo shoot. And even today, I feel even after I've dropped all the weight, people are going to criticize me however I look. People already, I see people commenting saying, you were better when you were chubby. I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, you're the same person who said I'm so fat. So, see, to please society, it's never going to happen. When you're fat, they're going to shame you for being fat. When you lose all the weight, they're going to say you've lost your charm. You don't look charming anymore. So, whatever you do, people are going to criticize you. You do you, and you do what's best for you. Today, when I sit here today, I know for a fact I did what was best for me, both physically and mentally, because I'm happy and I'm healthy. So I think that's all that matters.
Okay, so when you said you did mention it to a couple of directors and writers, were they willing to change the way how? I mean, these things cannot be. They should not normalize these things, right? Body shaming and all of
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
So did they
I
listen to
had
your?
reached a,
Mm.
yeah, I had reached a certain level of seniority by then where I could request them and tell them. Obviously, if I was a newbie in the film industry, nobody would have listened to me. I wouldn't have also had the guts to go approach a director or anybody and tell them, listen, I'm not happy with this joke that you made about me. So I kind of had to bite the bullet for some time. And then once I reached a certain level of seniority, uh, they definitely did take my uh, comments into consideration. Like I would very nicely tell them uh, that if they posted something like this, they'd end up offending not just me, but people who look just like me who are watching it. So I would very politely tell them, and some of them took it into consideration, some of them didn't. Some of them would be a bit adamant and say, no, no, it's nice only, people will laugh. And the funny part is, people did laugh. So after a point, you kind of don't know what you're fighting for anymore, because if the audience itself is going to laugh at such jokes, why should I be sitting and fighting for these jokes to not be normalized? So but now I think I've reached a point where I definitely don't want to take it anymore, and I don't want to take those jokes put on me. So I will definitely be far more stern with my opinions in the future in shoots.
Super, super. So, Vidhu, what about your film projects? We haven't seen you in Tamil cinema for a while. Is there any reason why
So
you're not taking?
that was never a it was never a decision that was conscious. It just happened in such a way that Telugu wanted me more and Telugu was casting me more. So obviously, I went to where the calls were and I went to where my payment was. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm not consciously avoiding Tamil. Why would I ever do something like that? But clearly, Telugu seems to like me more. Clearly, Telugu seems to be offering me more characters, nice characters with all the big stars, with small films, big films. I was getting a plethora of projects offered to me. So I really didn't give it a second thought, thinking, oh, why am I not like being cast in Tamil? I was just like, they'll cast me when they want to. Like when an opportunity arises, when a role arises, I hope that they think of me and I hope that they cast me. But I would never go behind any director or producer asking for a chance. I've never done that my whole life, and I never ever will. So for me, I basically went to where my phone was ringing. If my phone was ringing and telling me to go to Hyderabad, I'd go to Hyderabad. If my phone was ringing and telling me to stay in Chennai, I'd stay in Chennai. It was as simple as that. So a part of me did feel bad, though, as I was getting more and more popular and more well known in Andhra and in Telangana. A part of me was getting a bit upset that I was not getting that same level of recognition back in my own hometown, where Tamil is my mother tongue. It's where I've been. Chennai is a place where I've been born and brought up. So it hurt me quite a bit. But I was just like, okay, I'm busy somewhere, and as an actor, we should just be grateful that we are busy. Whether we are doing Bhojpuri cinema or Malayalam cinema or Tamil cinema, we should just be happy that we are doing cinema at the end of the day. So that kind of took a surprising turn because I had signed up a couple of films last year, of course, before Corona had happened, and I was shooting them in Tamil. I did one with Vidar, I did one with Thambiramaya's son, and I did one with Adarva Murli. So I have been doing films in Tamil. It's just that these films need to come out, and that's when people will see me and be like, "Hey, that's with you. She's back again." So I'm just waiting, like all of you out there, I'm waiting for those films to be released. And yeah, let's see how that goes.
Super, super, super. And with that, we're gonna end the interview. Thank you so much,
Perfect.
Vidhu. Thank you so much. Best wishes.
Thank you so much, Anya. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you.